The next day felt different in the classroom. For the first time, the alien students were the ones who would present. The 5 humans sat together, excited to learn about their classmates' homeworlds. Professor Zexrilvac floated to the center of the room. Today, we reverse our cultural exchange. Our non-human students will share information about their own planets and cultures. Clyrix was the first to step forward. His green insect-like body moved gracefully to the front of the room. My species comes from Zentara, a world with precisely controlled climate and no tectonic activity, he began. We have lived in perfect environmental balance for 50,000 years. Images appeared on the screen showing a beautiful world with purple skies and orderly cities built in perfect hexagonal patterns. We have no natural disasters, no dangerous weather, no predators. Our greatest danger is accidental chemical imbalance in our atmosphere. John raised his hand. Have your people always lived this way? Our ancient records suggest we once faced challenges similar to Earth's, but we engineered solutions, Clyrix explained. We now control every aspect of our environment. Lisa looked amazed. You never experience anything unexpected? Unexpected events are considered emergencies, Clyrix said. They happen perhaps once per decade. Next, Nipa's water tank moved forward. Her blue tentacles waved as she spoke through her translator. My world, Aquila, is 98% covered in water. My people live in the deep oceans, safe from surface storms. The screen showed images of gorgeous underwater cities glowing with soft lights. We have no concept of fire, Nipa explained. When humans described cooking with fire, many of my people could not comprehend it. Heat is a distant danger we avoid, not a tool we use. Eric smiled. So you've never had a barbecue? Several alien students looked confused at this word, and Nipa's tentacles curled in what seemed like amusement. No, but perhaps this is something we could learn from humans, using dangerous elements as tools rather than just avoiding them. Vorn moved to the front, his rocky body gleaming under the lights. My world, Lithios, has very little water. My species is silicon-based rather than carbon-based. We absorb energy directly from our sun and process minerals from the ground. The humans watched in fascination as images of a desert world with crystal formations and living rock creatures appeared on the screen. We do not experience pain as humans do, Vorn continued. Physical damage is noted but not felt emotionally. However, we can live for thousands of your years. Amy looked thoughtful. Do you have art or music on your world? We have vibration, patterns we find pleasing, Vorn said. And we grow our buildings as artistic expressions. I believe humans would call it architecture and sculpture combined. Thalara floated forward in her containment suit. Her gaseous form swirled in beautiful patterns as she spoke. My people from Eros exist as gas. We think collectively, sharing thoughts through our mist. The concept of individual privacy is foreign to us. The screen showed clouds of colorful gas forming complex patterns in the sky of a low-gravity world. We have no concept of physical barriers or boundaries, she continued. On my world, everything flows together. Your human body seems so isolated. Kevin nodded. That's fascinating. We sometimes feel alone in our separate bodies. Your experience sounds very different. Finally, Miplo stepped forward, her crystalline body catching the light and throwing rainbows across the walls. My world, Crystara, has no day or night. Our crystal sun provides constant light. My people grow rather than reproduce. We add new crystal formations to our bodies throughout our lives. The screen showed images of a dazzling world where everything seemed made of gems and crystal. We communicate through light patterns, Miplo explained. What humans call emotions, we express as different colors and intensities of light. John smiled. So you're literally glowing with happiness right now? Yes, Miplo confirmed, her body sparkling brighter. I am pleased to share knowledge with you. As the presentations continued, the humans asked questions and showed genuine interest in the alien cultures. The atmosphere in the classroom had transformed from fear to curiosity on both sides. During a break, Professor Zexrilvac approached the human students. I notice a pattern, she said, Most species in our galactic community evolved on worlds with minimal threats, or they engineered their environments to remove danger. Humans might be unique in adapting to threats rather than eliminating them. Eric nodded thoughtfully. On Earth, we learned to work with nature rather than control it completely. Maybe that's why we see problems as challenges rather than emergencies. Lisa smiled. And maybe that's why we seek out excitement. Our brains evolved to handle constant danger. Back in the classroom, the cultural exchange continued. The alien students shared their music, art, and literature with the humans. The humans were amazed by the beauty created by such different minds. As the day ended, John found himself walking with Clorix toward the dining hall. "I was afraid of you when you first arrived," Clorix admitted, his mandibles clicking softly. "But now I see that humans' strange ways have value." John smiled. "And we've learned that there are many different paths to becoming a successful species. Your people solved problems by creating perfect stability. We solved them by becoming adaptable." In the halls of Galactic University, something important was happening. Fear was giving way to understanding, and different kinds of intelligence were beginning to work together. The final week of the semester arrived at Galactic University. The classroom buzzed with excitement as students worked on their joint final project. The 5 humans and their alien classmates had spent days preparing their presentation, The Galactic Advantage of Diverse Evolution. The project room was filled with displays, samples, and interactive models. Professor Zexrilvac floated around, checking their progress. She seemed pleased with how well they were working together. "Today is significant," she announced. "The university board will attend your presentation. They will decide whether to expand the human exchange program." The students exchanged nervous glances. What had started as a simple class assignment now felt much more important. John stood with Clorix, finalizing their section on problem-solving approaches. "Do you think they'll let more humans join the university?" he asked. Clorix's antennae twitched thoughtfully. "After what we've learned, I hope so. The galaxy needs human perspective." Across the room, Lisa and Nipa worked on a water purification system that combined human ingenuity with Aquilin filtration techniques. They had discovered that human technology and Aquilin biology created better results together than either could achieve alone. "This prototype works 3 times better than our previous systems," Nipa bubbled excitedly. Eric and Vorn had created a disaster response program. Eric's knowledge of human emergency systems, paired with Vorn's endurance in harsh environments, made them an effective team. "A silicon-based being like you could enter damaged structures that would collapse under human weight," Eric explained to a board member who was previewing their work. Amy worked with Mayplo on a medical exchange program. Human healing techniques combined with crystalline regeneration properties could revolutionize treatments, Amy explained, showing slides of their research. Kevin and Thalara had perhaps the most surprising collaboration. Kevin's understanding of human neurology paired with Thalara's gaseous hive mind experience had led to new theories about consciousness itself. "We believe different forms of consciousness can communicate more effectively than previously thought," Kevin said, demonstrating their new translation device. When the time came for the final presentation, the lecture hall was packed. University. Officials, professors, and students from other departments filled every seat. The board members sat in the front row, their expressions serious. Professor Zixrilvac introduced the class. "These students have spent a semester exploring the differences between species from Class 12 Deathworlds like Earth and those from more stable environments. Their findings may surprise you." John stepped forward first. "When we humans arrived, you saw us as dangerous because we evolved on a deadly world. You were right to be cautious. But today we want to show you that diverse evolutionary paths create unique strengths." The presentation moved smoothly from one student to the next. They showed how human adaptability complemented the specialized skills of other species. They demonstrated working prototypes that combined their different abilities. "Humans faced constant threats on Earth," Lisa explained. "We evolved to expect problems and solve them quickly. Species from stable worlds evolved to perfect specialized skills over long periods. Clorix continued. Together we are stronger. Humans see solutions we miss because our worlds never required such adaptation. The board members watched with growing interest. Some took notes. Others whispered to each other. Nipa's tank moved forward. When I first met humans, I feared their strange behaviors. Now I understand these traits help them survive. Their approach to risk is different, not wrong. As the presentation continued, the atmosphere in the room changed. What had begun as skepticism was turning into excitement. The students showed that differences in evolutionary paths created opportunities for collaboration rather than reasons for fear. The galaxy faces unknown challenges, Eric said near the end. Some problems require specialized knowledge. Others need quick. The day after Eric's controversial presentation, there were fewer alien students in the classroom. Some parents had demanded their children be removed from the dangerous human exposure program. But most students returned, their curiosity stronger than their fear. Amy Rodriguez stood at the front of the room, the small earth plant she had brought with her sitting on the table beside her. Her presentation today was on Earth's environmental challenges. Thank you all for coming back, Amy began with a gentle smile. Today I'm going to talk about how Earth itself sometimes tries to kill us. The alien students looked at each other, nervously. Professor Zex Rilvac nodded for Amy to continue. Our planet has natural disasters that happen regularly. They are part of Earth's normal cycles, but they can be very destructive. Amy showed images of hurricanes viewed from space. Massive, swirling storm systems covering huge areas. These are hurricanes. They are giant storms with winds strong enough to destroy buildings. They form over our oceans when warm water creates energy in the air. Nipa bobbed in her water tank. Your atmosphere attacks you with spinning death? That's one way to look at it, Amy said. But we've learned to predict these storms and warn people to move away temporarily. She changed the screen to show earthquakes and their effects. The surface of our planet is divided into pieces called tectonic plates. These plates move very slowly, but when they push against each other, they cause earthquakes. The screen showed buildings shaking and some collapsing. The ground beneath you can suddenly move, Vorn asked, his rocky body trembling slightly. This would be catastrophic for my species. It can be dangerous for us too, Amy admitted. But we build structures that can withstand the shaking, and we have warning systems. Next, she showed volcanoes erupting, spewing molten rock and ash into the sky. Volcanoes are openings where the hot liquid rock inside our planet comes to the surface. They can explode with great force. Thalara's gaseous form rippled inside her containment suit. Your planet randomly expels its internal material through the crust? And you continue to live near these eruption points? Some people do, Amy said. The soil near volcanoes is very good for growing food. Clorix clicked his mandibles. You risk death for better nutrition? This is most illogical. Amy continued, showing floods, tornadoes, blizzards, and droughts. With each new disaster, the alien students grew more amazed that humans had survived. The most important thing to understand, Amy explained, is how humans respond to these disasters. We don't just survive, we help each other. She showed images of rescue workers digging through rubble after earthquakes, volunteers filling sandbags during floods, and communities rebuilding after hurricanes. When disasters happen, humans work together. We form groups to save lives and rebuild what was destroyed. Miplo's crystalline surface shimmered. You cooperate despite your history of conflict? Yes, Amy said firmly, especially during crises. Our capacity for empathy and cooperation is just as much a part of our evolution as our physical adaptations. She showed a final series of images, a town destroyed by a tornado, then the same town 1 year later, completely rebuilt. Humans are resilient. We face destruction. We grieve what we've lost and then we build again, often making things better than before. When Amy finished, the classroom was quiet, but not with the same kind of shocked silence that followed the earlier presentations. This time the alien student seemed thoughtful. Professor Zex Rilvac floated forward. Thank you, Amy. This presentation helps us understand an important aspect of human evolution, their remarkable ability to adapt and recover. Nipa raised a tentacle from her water tank. Professor, is it true that humans have survived multiple extinction-level events on their planet? Yes, the professor confirmed. Earth has experienced at least 5 major extinction events where most species were wiped out, yet somehow the ancestors of humans survived each time. The alien students looked at the 5 humans with new expressions, something like respect. I begin to understand, Cleric said, his earlier fear seemingly reduced. Humans are not simply aggressive or reckless. They had to develop these traits to survive. As Amy returned to her seat, she noticed the change in atmosphere. The alien students were still wary, but they were starting to see humans in a new light. You did great, John whispered to her. I think they're finally getting it. Kevin, who would present next on human medicine, looked nervous. How am I supposed to follow that? Wait until they hear about our immune systems constantly fighting microscopic invaders. Outside the classroom, 2 university board members watched through a viewing portal. Remarkable, one said. These humans may have more to teach us than we initially thought. If they don't accidentally destroy the university first, the other replied, only half joking. Word had spread across the university about the human presentations. Today the classroom was full. Extra seats had been added and several professors from other departments stood at the back. Everyone wanted to hear Kevin Phillips talk about human medicine and biology. Kevin adjusted his glasses nervously as he looked at the crowd. He placed a small medical scanner on the table beside him and took a deep breath. Thank you all for coming, he began. Today I'm going to explain how humans survive in bodies that are constantly under attack. He touched a control, and the screen behind him showed microscopic images of human blood cells and bacteria. Inside every human, there is a war happening all the time. Our bodies are constantly fighting against tiny invaders called bacteria and viruses. Clerics raised a limb. Are these bacteria some kind of parasite? Some are harmful, but many are helpful, Kevin explained. In fact, humans carry trillions of bacteria that help us digest food and stay healthy. Thalara's gaseous form swirled. You allow other life forms to exist inside your body, voluntarily. We don't have much choice, Kevin said with a smile, but we've evolved to work with many of them. It's a partnership. He changed the image to show white blood cells attacking bacteria. This is our immune system. It recognizes and destroys harmful invaders. It's like having billions of tiny soldiers inside us fighting to keep us alive. Vorn's rocky surface pulsed with light. Your bodies are constantly at war? Even when you appear peaceful? Yes, Kevin confirmed. Every day we fight off potential infections. Most of the time we don't even notice. Miplo sparkled nervously. How do you function with such internal conflict? We're used to it, Kevin said. Now, let me show you something that might be difficult to watch. He showed footage of a surgeon performing an operation. Several alien students made sounds of distress. This is called surgery, Kevin explained. When part of our body is damaged or diseased, we can cut it open and repair it. Nipa bubbled frantically in her tank. Her translator voiced, You deliberately breach your external membrane, and you survive? Not only survive, but heal, Kevin said. Human bodies can repair significant damage. He showed images of broken bones mending, skin healing over wounds, and even a liver regenerating tissue. Our bodies can heal cuts, mend broken bones, fight off diseases, and even regrow some tissues. Not all species can do this. Professor Zeeks Rilvac moved forward. For context, most species represented in this room would die from injuries humans routinely survive. Even a small cut would be fatal to Miplo's crystalline structure. Kevin continued, showing examples of prosthetic limbs and organ transplants. When parts of our bodies are too damaged to heal, we can sometimes replace them with artificial parts or even organs from other humans. The alien students were silent with shock. Finally, Thalara spoke. You take body parts from one human and put them in another? Only when the first human has died or can spare the organ, Kevin explained. It's considered a gift of life. Kevin showed final images of humans recovering from serious injuries and illnesses, returning to normal activities. The human body is remarkably resilient. We can lose a lot of blood and survive. We can live with only one of some organs. We can recover from diseases that would kill many other species. When Kevin finished, the audience remained silent for several moments. Then, a professor from the medical department spoke up. I've studied xenobiology for 60 cycles, and I've never encountered a species with such biological resilience. Humans truly are remarkable in their physical adaptations. Professor Zixrilvak nodded. Thank you, Kevin. Your presentation helps us understand why humans approach challenges differently than other species. Your biology has shaped your psychology. As Kevin returned to his seat, the alien students watched him with new understanding. Thalara moved her containment suit closer to the humans rather than further away, as she had done previously. I begin to understand why you seek out challenges, she said, her gaseous form pulsing gently. Your bodies are designed to overcome them. Lisa smiled at this comment. It's not just our bodies. It's our minds, too. We expect to face problems and solve them. It's part of who we are. Outside in the hallway, the university board members who had been watching were deep in discussion. Perhaps, said one, these humans have more to teach us than we initially thought. Their resilience might be exactly what our peaceful galactic community needs to face new challenges. Or, said another, they might bring those challenges with them. Back in the classroom, Professor Zixrilvak announced that tomorrow would be different. The next day, the alien students entered the classroom with a mix of fear and excitement. Today, Lisa Carter would present on human recreation and sports. After yesterday's shocking revelations about normal Earth life, no one knew what to expect. Lisa stood confidently at the front of the room. Her blonde hair was tied back, and she wore a bright blue shirt with the logo of her college swim team. Hello, everyone, she began. Today I'm going to tell you about how humans have fun. The screen behind her lit up with an image of people swimming in an ocean. Several alien students gasped. Many humans enjoy swimming in large bodies of water for fun, Lisa explained. We have oceans that cover most of our planet. Clorix's insect body trembled. You willingly enter vast amounts of dihydrogen monoxide, the substance that can dissolve so many materials? We call it water, and yes, we swim in it, Lisa said. Some of us even compete to see who can swim fastest. She changed the image to show people surfing on large waves. Nipa, the aquatic alien, made bubbling sounds that her translator converted to words. Those liquid formations look dangerous. They could trap you beneath them. That's part of the excitement, Lisa said with a smile. We call it surfing. The danger makes it fun. The alien students looked at each other in confusion. Lisa continued with her presentation, showing images of humans skiing down snowy mountains. Here, humans strap slippery boards to their feet and slide down mountains covered in frozen water at high speeds. But a fall at those speeds could break your fragile calcium-based skeletal structures, said Vorn, the silicon-based alien. Yes, injuries happen sometimes, Lisa admitted. That's why we wear helmets for protection. Miplo, the crystalline being, sparkled nervously. You risk permanent damage to your bodies. For enjoyment? Lisa nodded and moved to the next image, showing people rock climbing up sheer cliffs without safety equipment. This is free climbing. Humans use only their hands and feet to climb up rock walls. But gravity could pull you down at any moment. Thalara's gaseous form swirled rapidly in distress. That's what makes it exciting, Lisa explained. She continued showing images of skydiving, bungee jumping, and whitewater rafting. With each new picture, the alien students grew more agitated. When she showed footage of humans riding roller coasters, Clorix made a high-pitched sound and fell off his seat. Professor Zixrilvak rushed over. He has fainted. The concept of deliberately experiencing rapid acceleration for pleasure is too shocking for his species. 2 medical drones carried Clorix out of the room as Lisa continued her presentation. Many humans enjoy what we call adrenaline rushes from these activities, she explained. It's a chemical our bodies produce during dangerous or exciting situations. It makes us feel alive. Your species seeks out danger instead of avoiding it? Asked Nipa from her water tank. This contradicts all survival logic. We evolved to be problem solvers, Lisa said. Facing challenges helped us survive on Earth. Now we sometimes create artificial challenges for fun. She showed final images of humans playing contact sports like football and hockey. These are team sports where humans compete against each other in games that require physical contact. You deliberately strike each other's bodies? Vorn's rocky surface glowed with concern. Without cause? It's part of the game, Lisa explained. No one is trying to cause serious harm. When Lisa finished her presentation, the classroom was silent. Professor Zikrilvak floated to the center on her hover platform. Thank you, Lisa. I believe we all have much to consider about how different species define recreation. As Lisa returned to her seat, she noticed the alien students looking at her with new expressions. There was still fear, but now there was also something else, respect. Did I overdo it? Lisa whispered to Eric. No, he replied. But I think my presentation on human wars tomorrow might give them all heart attacks, if they have hearts. Outside in the hallway, a group of alien students were already discussing what they had learned. One of them wondered aloud if humans might be the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because they were violent, but because they were fearless in ways other species could barely comprehend. Security drones hovered at the doors of the classroom. The next day, Professor Zikrilvak had requested them after seeing how the alien students reacted to Lisa's presentation. Today was Eric Thompson's turn to present on human history and conflicts, and the professor expected even stronger reactions. Eric stood tall at the front of the room. His dark skin contrasted with his bright orange university jacket as he set up his presentation. Today I'm going to talk about human conflicts and wars throughout our history, he began. Vorn raised a rocky appendage. Professor, may I ask a safety question before we begin? Of course, Professor Zikrilvak said. Will this human demonstrate any actual combat techniques? Vorn's cracks glowed with concern. Eric smiled. No, this is just a historical overview. I won't be hurting anyone. The alien students looked relieved but still nervous. Eric began his presentation with early human tribal conflicts. Humans have fought each other since before we had written language, he explained. Tribes would fight, over territory, resources, or sometimes beliefs. He showed images of ancient weapons like spears and swords. The alien students shifted uncomfortably. You developed tools specifically to damage other members of your own species? Asked Miplo, the crystalline being. Yes, Eric said. As technology advanced, so did our weapons. The images on the screen changed to show larger conflicts, armies facing each other across battlefields. These are what we call wars, large-scale fighting between nations that could last for years or even decades. Thalara's gaseous form compressed in what seemed like distress. Your species fought each other while also battling your deadly environment? This seems counterproductive to survival. You're right, Eric admitted. It was. But humans often fought over what they believed was right, or to protect their people. He continued through human history, showing the advancement of weapons technology. When he reached the World Wars, the alien students became visibly disturbed. During our 20th century, we had two global conflicts that involved most nations on Earth, Eric explained. Millions of humans died. Clorix, who had recovered from his fainting episode yesterday, clicked his mandibles rapidly. You directed all this destructive energy at yourselves rather than against the deadly planet trying to kill you? It's complicated, Eric said. But yes, that's one way to look at it. When Eric showed footage of nuclear weapons tests, Professor Zikrilvak quickly floated forward. Perhaps we should take a moment to process this information, she suggested, seeing the alien students' distress. It's important to understand that humans have learned from these conflicts, Eric continued. We've created international organizations to prevent large-scale wars. Nipa bubbled in her tank. But you still have weapons? You still prepare for war? Yes, Eric admitted, but we also work for peace. As Eric finished his presentation, showing modern peacekeeping efforts, the classroom remained tense. Professor Zikrilvac moved to the center. Thank you, Eric. This raises important questions about aggression and cooperation in sentient species. An alarm suddenly sounded, and the lights in the room pulsed blue. The alien students looked around in panic. Please remain calm, Professor, Zikrilvac announced. This is just a standard security protocol. The university AI has detected elevated stress levels in this classroom and is responding accordingly. The 5 human students exchanged glances. They hadn't expected their presentations to trigger security systems. Professor, Vorn said, his voice vibrating with concern. Perhaps we should reconsider having humans at the university. Their history suggests they might be too dangerous. The human students looked hurt by this suggestion. Eric stepped forward. I understand your concern, he said. But consider this, despite all our conflicts, humans united to reach the stars. We made peace with each other to join the galactic community. Professor Zikrilvac nodded. An excellent point, Eric. Evolution shapes all species. Humans evolved on a dangerous world where competition was necessary for survival. Yet they have also developed remarkable capacities for cooperation and compassion. As the security alert ended and the lights returned to normal, the alien students continued to watch the humans with new wariness. Eric returned to his seat feeling the weight of their stares. Tomorrow is your turn, he whispered to Amy. Maybe natural disasters will seem less scary after this. Amy smiled weakly. I doubt it. But I think we're starting to show them who we really are, the good and the bad. Outside in the hallway, university officials were already meeting to discuss whether the human exchange program should continue. The large silver ship landed softly on the gleaming platform of Galactic University. It was a big day. For the first time ever, human students would join the most elite school in the galaxy. The doors of the ship opened with a hiss, and 5 humans stepped out, blinking in the purple light of the twin suns. John Miller was the first to exit. He was tall, with brown hair and a friendly smile. Behind him came Lisa Carter, with her blonde hair tied back, looking around with curious green eyes. Eric Thompson followed, his dark skin contrasting with his bright orange university jacket. Amy Rodriguez stepped out next, carrying a small plant from Earth in a clear container. Last came Kevin Phillips, who adjusted his glasses as he stared up at the floating crystal towers of the university. Welcome to Galactic University, said Professor Zikrilvac. The professor had blue skin, 4 arms, and eyes that blinked sideways. We are very pleased to have the first humans join our academic community. The humans tried not to stare at the crowd of alien students watching them. There were beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions. Some floated in the air. Others moved on many legs. Some glowed or changed colors as they whispered to each other. Is it true? Asked a student who looked like a giant insect with shiny, green plates. Are they really from a Class 12 Deathworld? His name was Clorix, and his antennae twitched nervously. The professor nodded. Yes, Earth is classified as a Class 12 Deathworld, the highest rating on our scale. A wave of gasps and nervous clicks spread through the alien students. Many stepped back. A few took readings with small devices. What's a Deathworld? Whispered Eric to John. Before John could answer, a blob-like water creature inside a floating tank moved forward. It means your planet should be impossible to live on, said the creature named Nipa. Her voice came through a translator. High gravity, extreme temperatures, dangerous radiation, deadly pathogens, tectonic instability, atmospheric toxins. She made a bubbling sound. No offense, but your kind shouldn't exist. Lisa smiled. We call it home. This caused another round of nervous movements from the alien students. Vorn, a rocky being with glowing cracks across his surface, asked, Is it true you drink dihydrogen monoxide daily? The same compound that causes metal to rust? You mean water? Amy laughed. Yes, we need it to live. Thalara, who looked like a swirling purple mist inside a special suit, moved slightly away. And you stand under your star's radiation. For fun, We call it sunbathing, Kevin said. It feels nice. Professor Zexrilvac cleared her throat, or what passed for a throat, and raised all four of her arms. This is precisely why this exchange program is so valuable. There is much we can learn from each other. Humans have evolved remarkable adaptations to survive conditions that would instantly kill most sentient species. The professor turned to a screen and pulled up an image of Earth. For this semester's main project, our 5 human students will each give presentations about different aspects of Earth life. The rest of you will prepare questions and create comparative analyses with your own homeworlds. Miplo, a crystalline being who sparkled when she spoke, raised what seemed to be a hand. Will we be safe? No offense to our new classmates, but they evolved on a planet with thousands of apex predators. We don't bite, John said with a grin. Several alien students didn't seem to find this reassuring. The professor assigned them all to their living quarters. The humans were given a special wing with Earth-like conditions. The alien students were both fascinated and terrified to learn that humans slept unconscious for hours each day, completely vulnerable. As John unpacked in his room, he looked out, the window at the strange purple sky. So they think Earth is scary, he said to himself. Wait until they hear about skydiving. In the common area, the alien students were already forming study groups to learn about these strange new humans. They were nervous, but also excited. After all, any species that could evolve on a Deathworld and then reach the stars must have something special. They just hoped that something special wasn't too dangerous for the rest of them. The first class would begin tomorrow, and none of them, human or alien, knew quite what to expect. The next day, the large classroom filled, with students from across the galaxy. The 5 humans sat together in the front row. John Miller looked nervous. Today was his turn to give the first presentation about Earth. Professor Zexrilvac moved to the center of the room on her hover platform. Today we begin our exploration of Earth, classified as a Class 12 Deathworld. John will tell us about a normal day on his planet. John stood up and walked to the front. He took a deep breath and smiled at the alien students. Good morning. I'm going to talk about what a normal day looks like for a human on Earth. He pressed a button, and images appeared on the large screen behind him. The first showed a sunrise, over a city. Most humans wake up when our single sun rises. We get out of bed and usually go to the bathroom to clean ourselves. We stand under falling water to wash our bodies. Nipa, the aquatic alien, made bubbling sounds of approval from her water tank. But most other aliens looked shocked. You allow water to touch your external membrane? Voluntarily, asked Vorn, the silicon-based alien. His rocky surface glowed, brighter with concern. Yes, we call it a shower. It feels good, John explained. Then we brush our teeth to clean them and we eat our first meal of the day. He showed pictures of humans eating breakfast. Several aliens made sounds of disgust. You ingest solid organic matter? Thalara's gaseous form swirled faster inside her containment suit. How primitive. John continued showing images of humans walking outside, driving cars and working in offices. He explained how humans breathed unfiltered air, drank water from taps and walked under open sky with only minimal protection from the sun's radiation. Sometimes it rains, which means water falls from the sky. We just use small portable shelters, called umbrellas, or sometimes we just get wet. Clorix, the insectoid alien, clicked his mandibles in horror. Your planet randomly dumps corrosive dihydrogen monoxide on you from above, and you consider this normal? It's just rain, John said with a shrug. Kids like to play in it. The alien students looked at each other in disbelief. John showed more images of a normal Earth day. He explained how humans worked, played, exercised, and socialized. He showed pictures of people eating lunch in parks under the open sky. A typical day might include temperature changes of 15 to 20 degrees, sometimes more if the weather changes suddenly. Professor Zexrilvac interrupted. For context, a temperature change of even 5 degrees would be fatal for Miplo species. The crystalline alien sparkled nervously at this information. John continued. At night, most of us sleep for about 8 hours. During this time, we become unconscious, and our minds process information from the day through dreams. You become defenseless for a third of each day on a predator-filled world, asked Vorn. How have you survived as a species? We build safe shelters and take turns keeping watch in our communities, John explained. Also, most of us don't worry about predators anymore in our cities. John finished his presentation by showing humans enjoying an evening at home, watching entertainment, spending time with family, and finally going to sleep. When he finished, the room was silent. Finally, Professor Drillvac spoke. Thank you, John. As you can all see, what humans consider normal would be extreme survival conditions for most sentient species. Clorix raised a pointed limb. Professor, is it true that Earth has over 10,000 natural disasters every year? How do humans survive? John smiled. We adapt. We rebuild. It's just part of life on Earth. The alien students whispered among themselves. They had thought the stories about Earth were exaggerated. Now they wondered if the truth was even more extreme than the rumors. As John returned to his seat, Lisa leaned over. I think you scared them. Wait until they hear about extreme sports tomorrow. John grinned. I didn't even mention the dangerous stuff yet. Professor Zaxrilvac noticed the alien student's distress. Remember, she said, humans evolved extraordinary resilience because of their planet's conditions. This is why their perspective will be valuable to our galactic community. Outside the classroom window, the gentle purple light of the twin suns shone on a perfectly controlled environment. No weather changes, no natural disasters, no predators. Nothing like the wild, unpredictable world the humans called home.